that in this manner 35 shepherds undertook the pasturing of the sheep, and they each completed their terms like the first, and others received them into their hands to pasture them for their terms, each shepherd in his own period. And after that, I saw in my vision all the birds of heaven coming, the eagles, the vultures, the kites, the ravens, but the eagles led all the birds. And they began to devour those sheep, and to pick out their eyes, and to devour their flesh. And the sheep cried out because their flesh was being devoured by the birds. And as for me, I looked and lamented in my sleep over that shepherd who pastured the sheep. And I saw until those sheep were devoured by the dogs and the eagles and the kites, and they left them neither flesh nor skin nor sinew remaining on them, until only their bones stood there, and their bones too fell to the earth, and the sheep became few. And I saw until that 23 had undertaken the pasturing, and completed in their several periods 58 times. But behold, lambs were born by those white sheep, and they began to open their eyes, and to see, and to cry to the sheep. Yeah! They cried to them, but they did not hearken to what they said to them, but were exceedingly deaf, and their eyes were exceedingly blinded. And I saw in the vision how the ravens flew upon those lambs, and took one of those lambs, and dashed the sheep in pieces, and devoured them. And I saw until horns grew upon those lambs, and the ravens cast down their horns. And I saw until there sprouted a great horn of one of those sheep, and their eyes were opened, and it looked at them, and their eyes opened, and it cried to the sheep. And the ram saw it, and all ran to it. And notwithstanding all this, those eagles and vultures and ravens and kites still kept tearing the sheep, and swooping down upon them, and devouring them. Still the sheep remained silent, but the rams lamented and cried out. And those ravens fought and battled with it, and sought to lay low its horn, but they had no power over it. All this was going on. The shepherds and eagles and vultures and kites were still seeking to devour those sheep, and the shepherds fed them in their own periods. And as each was destroyed and swallowed up, all the shepherds were destroyed and swallowed up. And the great horn was born, and it opened the eyes of the sheep, and it looked at them, and their eyes opened, and it cried to the sheep. And the ram saw it, and all ran to it. And notwithstanding all this, those eagles and vultures and ravens and kites still kept tearing the sheep, and swooping down upon them, and devouring them. Still the sheep remained silent, but the rams lamented and cried out. And those ravens fought and battled with it, and sought to lay low its horn, but they had no power over it. And I saw until the shepherds and eagles and those vultures and kites came, and they cried to the ravens that they should break the horn of that ram. And they battled and fought with it, and it battled with them, and cried that its help might come. And I saw until that man who wrote down the names of the shepherds and carried up into the presence of the Lord of the sheep came, and he helped it and showed it everything. He had come down for the help of that ram. And I saw until the Lord of the sheep came to them in wrath, and all who saw him fled, and they all fell into his shadow from before his face. And all the eagles and vultures and ravens and kites were gathered together, and there came with them all the sheep of the field. Yeah, they all came together and helped each other to break that horn of the ram. And I saw that man who wrote the book according to the command of the Lord. until he opened that book concerning the destruction which those 12 last shepherds had wrought, and showed that they had destroyed much more than their predecessors before the Lord of the sheep. And I saw until the Lord of the sheep came to them, and took in his hand the staff of his wrath, and smote the earth, and the earth clave asunder, and all the beasts and all the birds of the heaven fell from among those sheep, and were swallowed up in the earth, and it covered them. And I saw until a great sword was given to the sheep, and the sheep proceeded against all the beasts of the field to slay them, and all the beasts and the birds of the heaven fled before their face. And I saw until a throne was erected in the pleasant land, and the Lord of the sheep sat himself thereon, and the other took the sealed books, and opened those books before the Lord of the sheep. And the Lord called those men the 7 first white ones, and commanded that they should bring before him, beginning with the first star, which led the way, all the stars whose privy members were like those of horses. And they brought them all before him. And he said to that man who wrote before him, being one of those 7 white ones, and said to him, take those 70 shepherds, to whom I delivered the sheep, and who taken them on their own authority slew more than I commanded them. And behold, they were all bound. And I saw, and they all stood before him, and the judgment was held.